Welcome to Reclaiming Your Light. I'm your host, Rachel Gossett. This is a space where healing begins with safety. You can take off the mask and discover the freedom of being your true self. Let's begin reclaiming your light. Have you ever asked the universe for a sign and then immediately regretted how fucking literal the answer was? Because today, apparently, Spirit was like, no, we're not going to be subtle, Rachel. Let me tell you, I got stung not once, but twice by jellyfish today. And while I am sitting here recording this, my arm is burning and I have these lovely shooting pains going through my ankle. And I can't even stop thinking about the irony of what happened today because I almost didn't go to the beach. I almost let the story in my head about how difficult it could be stop me from having an experience that honestly I think I really needed. And then I spent the entire drive there receiving what felt like sign after sign after sign that said, Rachel, keep going. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And eventually I ended up face to face or tentacle to ankle with a creature whose message is basically the exact fucking lesson I've been learning lately. Stop fighting the current. So I want you to think about something before we get into this story. Where in your life are you exhausting yourself trying to control the current instead of learning how to move with it? Surrender isn't about knowing where the current is taking you. It's trusting yourself enough to move with it anyway. Now, this morning, I was thinking about taking, well, actually, up until this morning, I was thinking about taking my three girls to the beach by myself. And immediately my brain started doing, right, what that ego-logical mind does and started questioning this thought I had. Rachel, do you really want to do this? Do you think you can do this? Are you capable of taking the three girls to the beach by yourself? Because, taking the girls to the beach alone is not relaxing. And if you're a mom, you know what I'm talking about. You're making sure you got the snacks, the towels, the sunscreen, right? Their bathing suits are on, a change of clothes. I have the beach chairs. I have the beach toys, the blankets, all of the shit, the hats, the water. And then somebody doesn't want what somebody else wants. They're fighting. They're hungry. They're like, Mom, I need you. Mom, right? And they're complaining about the sand in their little butt cracks. They're complaining about the sand on their feet. And my girls, yes, they love each other, but holy shit, they can really be at each other's throats. I always describe my three girls, especially the twins, as feral cats. And if you know, you know. So part of me was thinking about, Rachel, do you really have the capacity for this today? And that's actually an important distinction because I don't think healing means forcing ourselves to do everything we're afraid of doing. Sometimes your body is really saying no. But sometimes your body isn't saying no. It's your mind is predicting every possible inconvenience before you've even left the house. And those aren't the same things. So, how often do you decide how an experience is going to feel before you've actually experienced this? How often do you talk yourself out of something you want to do so bad or something that you want because you're already living inside the hypothetical stress of it? And that was me this morning. Except underneath all of that mental noise, I wanted the beach. I needed the beach. I fucking love the beach. The beach feels like home to me. I cry every time I get there. I just have this full body reaction when I'm next to the beach. And we really didn't get to enjoy the ocean the way I wanted to on our recent trip to Delaware because guess what was in the ocean? Jellyfish. Now, in hindsight, how hilarious is that? So this morning I did my routine, I did my workout, and eventually I said, fuck it. You know what? Let's go to the beach. I packed everything. I got the girls ready. I got myself ready. I even asked my teenage son if he wanted to come, and he's like, no, thanks, mom. I'll pass. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. 13-year-old doesn't want to hang out with his mama and three little sisters at the beach. So it was just me and my three girls. We headed to Bradley Beach. My friend has a condo there. She was there, and I was going to see her. I haven't seen her in a while, and I was just really excited about it. And you know what? As soon as I got everything packed and in the car, things just started flowing. There was no traffic. And I repeating numbers everywhere from Spirit. I saw 444, 4444, 5555, 3333. I saw a hawk in the sky. And then when I was at the beach, I saw a feather. Oh, I saw 888, 777. Just like every repeating number possible I saw. And then I was hearing spirit clairaudiently. So when I connect to spirit, I see things, hear things, feel things, know things, sometimes smell and taste. But at this time, I was hearing spirit. And whether someone else interprets those things the same way I do doesn't really matter. I know what they mean to me. And my whole body felt like, yes, keep going. And then I got there and I found a parking spot right next to the beach. I just had everything going smoothly. And my friend, I got to see my friend. And she is this incredible woman whose energy I love. And she's like a big sister to me. And I remember thinking, oh man, I am so glad I came. And that's when I started thinking about how many experiences we miss because we're waiting for certainty before we move. Sometimes you don't get the entire plan. Sometimes you just get the next yes. What if you stopped asking yourself, how is all of this going to work? And start asking, what feels like the next honest yes? Not the next 5 years, not the entire outcome, just the next step. Now, my girls, it's a love hate relationship with the waves and the ocean. I mean, what little kid isn't afraid of the waves? So I was a little concerned how that was going to go, especially with my youngest. But they absolutely loved it. We're in the water, they're having the best time of their life. Oh my gosh, the giggles just filled me with pure joy seeing their faces, their smiles, the dimples, the laughter. It was pure joy. And again, it was a reflection. Yes, Rachel, you are supposed to be here. The water was crystal clear. It was a little chilly, but it still felt amazing. It wasn't too hot. The sun was shining, blue skies with wispy white clouds. And I'm thinking here about how glad I am that I didn't let myself stay home. And as I'm just soaking all of this in, I was like, fuck, ow. My arm. I looked down at my arm and it looked like I got a scratch, like a few scratches on my arm. And it hurt. It was burning. And it kind of looked like hives, like it was blistering up, it was bubbling up. But I didn't think much of it. I just continued playing with the girls and playing in the water. We went back to our blanket area. We were playing in the sand. I was hanging out with my friends, just having a great time. They're eating their snacks. Then Elaine and Lillian, they wanted to go back in the water. So Lulu stayed with my friends and I went down with Elaine and Lillian. We're playing again in the water. We're having a great time. I'm taking each girl out and it was just so much fun jumping waves. Then I see this circular thing floating in the water. And I was like, oh, fuck. That's a jellyfish. It was clear. It had the pinkish red ring in the middle. And I was like, oh man, it's just one though. It's just one. And no, it just wasn't one. It was just one that I could see. And I shit you not even a minute later, I felt something wrap around my right ankle. Now, talk about pain. The pain was immediate. I felt it wrap around my ankle, this thing. And then I felt the pain. And then my brain finally processed that's a jellyfish on your ankle. And so I started shaking my right leg, my foot, and trying to swat at it under the water and trying not to curse and scream because there's families all around me and I didn't want to startle anyone. And I go, girls, I just got stung by a jellyfish. Get out of the water. So I got out of the water and it felt like I was getting sliced with a knife over and over and over again. And it was just deep pain. And then I was like, okay, I got stung by the jellyfish. And then I'm looking at my arm and I was like, fuck, I bet you I got stung on my arm too, because looking at it, it looked like tentacle marks on my arm. And I was like, how is that possible? I got stung not once, but twice. Now I feel Spirit was, all right, Rachel, you need to pay attention. Okay, Spirit. We went back to the blanket area. I told my girlfriend I had an ice pack on it just to try to cool it down. And I was just beside myself. But at the same time, I was thinking to myself, okay, Spirit, what the fuck is the lesson here? Sitting with the burning on my arm, the sharp pains shooting through my ankle. I can make this mean whatever I want. I could say, of course, this happened to me. Of course, I couldn't have a good day. Oh, I knew I shouldn't have come. The whole day is ruined. Why does shit like this happen to me? And I didn't. I didn't think that. There's something with the pain that made me really think of it as a beautiful experience without making it a bad one. Because I could have went down that spiral and be like, oh no, what was me? But I was able to hold the pain, to experience the pain, but also realize, there's something here for me to get curious about. You can hold both. I got to spend this incredible day with my daughters. I got to see my friends. I listened to my intuition. I experienced synchronicity after synchronicity. We played in the beautiful water. I was in my happy place, my sacred space, the beach. I watched my girls laugh and run. And yes, I got stung by two jellyfish. One doesn't erase the other. Again, I held both. And you can do the same. You can hold both. Now, let me ask you this. How often does one uncomfortable moment become the story you tell yourself about the entire day? It could be an argument, a mistake, someone you pissed off. One thing didn't go according to plan. And then your brain comes in and be like, oh, well, this sucks. Today sucked. But did the whole day actually suck? No. Or was there a difficult moment inside of a day that also contained beauty? And that was the day that I experienced beauty and some crunchiness. So naturally, I started thinking about the jellyfish. And what I love about the symbolism is that the jellyfish is associated with surrender, with flow, sensitivity, intuition, adaptability. And this really interesting combination of vulnerability and strength. And holy shit, that's the work because surrender isn't passive. Going with the flow doesn't mean lying there and letting life drag you wherever the hell it wants. You still move, you respond, you make choices, you create boundaries, you protect yourself, but you stop exhausting yourself trying to control the entire fucking ocean. And maybe that's what I've been learning. I don't need to control the current to trust myself inside of it. And that feels very different because self trust isn't, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen. No. Self trust is whatever happens, I trust myself to meet it. And the beauty in that is that it's freedom. Now, there's another piece of the jellyfish symbolism that really landed for me, and that's sensitivity. Because how many of us have spent our lives believing we're too sensitive? I definitely experienced that growing up, too sensitive. I even just this past weekend on Saturday, I took my daughters to see the Paw Patrol movie. I'm too sensitive to watch that. I cried multiple times in the Paw Patrol movie. I wrote a really good carousel on that on Instagram. You should check it out. But yes, we feel everything, other people's moods. We feel when energy shifts. We can feel that change in someone's tone. Our bodies communicate with us constantly, and we've been taught to override it. Oh no, you're overthinking too much. You're too emotional. You're imagining things. Don't be so fucking sensitive. But what if sensitivity isn't something you're supposed to get rid of? What if you're supposed to learn how to work with it? Now, think of the jellyfish. The jellyfish is soft, It is delicate. It is responsive to its environment. And yet it still fucking stings. And I can confirm that. I actually love that metaphor because softness doesn't require self-abandonment. Sensitivity doesn't require having no boundaries. You can be deeply compassionate and still say, no, no thanks. You can be intuitive and still protect your energy. You can surrender without becoming passive. You can flow without losing yourself. You can be soft and powerful at the same time. Now, here's something I invite you to practice this week. When you notice yourself spiraling, when you notice yourself overthinking, trying to predict what's going to happen, or when you're mentally rehearsing every possible outcome, take a moment and pause. Put one hand somewhere on your body that helps you feel grounded. It could be your belly, it could be your chest, your legs, whatever feels right for you in the moment. And then take a slow, deep, intentional breath and ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, what am I trying to control right now? Not fix, not solve, but what am I trying to control right now? Question 2, what is actually mine to do? Maybe there's an action you need to take, perhaps a conversation, a decision, a boundary, a next step. So think about that. What is actually mine to do? And number 3, what isn't mine to control? That could be someone else's reaction, the outcome, the timing, whether everything unfolds exactly the way you pictured it. And imagine releasing that part into the current, out into the ocean. And what isn't mine to control? And when you do this, you don't have to become completely zen. You don't have to be peaceful. I'm not telling you to ignore what's going on, the sensations, but just ask yourself these questions to get curious. This practice helps you to recognize this is mine, that isn't. And then take the next aligned step. That, my friends, is surrender with agency. Now, I almost didn't go to the beach today because I was afraid it would be too much. And if I had listened to the stories that my mind was creating, I would have missed all of it. I would have missed seeing my dear friends. I would have missed watching my 3 daughters have the time of their life, running in the waves, playing in the water, playing in the sand, eating ice cream. I would have missed the hawk in the sky, the several feathers that seemed to follow me wherever I went, all of the repeating numbers, the wonderful parking spot, the connection that I made with my friends and my daughters, that moment. And yes, I also would have missed getting stung by the two jellyfish. I mean, well, maybe I wouldn't have missed that. I looked at that experience as, what is something deeper? What is the connection that I can make here? And a beautiful thing for you to think about, to ponder, is this. Something that I say: I'll surrender and allow things to flow the way they need to. But I know life can get super crunchy and super hard. And we don't say, hey, I'll only surrender if the surrender guarantees me a comfortable outcome. Because that's really not surrendering. That's still controlling. But as I said, surrendering is just allowing things to happen. I'm willing to enter the water even though I cannot control the ocean. I'm willing to love even though I could get hurt or have a broken heart. I'm willing to try even though I could fail. I'm willing to follow the yes, even though I don't know where it leads. I'm willing to experience the beautiful parts of being alive, knowing that sometimes, yes, the jellyfish is going to sting me. Freedom isn't creating a life where nothing hurts or nothing happens to you, or you don't experience the crunchiness or the wobbles. Freedom is knowing that when life does sting, you do not have to become the pain. You can feel it. You can tend to it. You listen. You learn. And then you keep moving with the currents. So this week, ask yourself, where am I fighting the ocean? And what would change if, instead of trying to control the current, I trusted myself enough to move with it? Today's lesson really is that simple. Be like the fucking jellyfish. Stay soft. Stay sensitive. Protect your energy. Trust what you feel. And most importantly, stop fighting every current that doesn't move exactly the way you planned. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. It truly means more than you know. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you'd follow the show, leave a rating or review, or even share it with someone you love. Every listen, every review, and every share helps this message reach another woman who may be ready to come home to herself. Before you go, let's take one deep belly breath together. Breathe in through your nose, allowing your belly to gently rise. And slowly exhale, releasing anything you no longer need to carry. One more time. A deep breath in and a slow, gentle breath out. Remember, healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about creating enough safety to remember who you've been all along. Until next time, keep reclaiming your light.